I'm David Walter. I'm what they call a pre-6 lecturer here at Berkeley. I teach in 2 departments currently, English and comparative literature. And I have about a cumulative of about 5 years of teaching time credits here at the university.
So what are the issues here that you're out here today for?
We're really mostly very intensely focused on rehiring rights, because lecturers have essentially been, we're in a 2-tier system. On the bottom tier, we get churned in and out based on departmental whims, basically. So what it amounts to is kind of the second tier is a gig labor force, and that's what we are, basically. We go into a pool, and the departments pick us out capriciously when they want to, and there really is no guarantee of rehiring. So we are really focused on rehiring rights and job stability, health benefits, and keeping lecturers safe and stable when they're in their jobs. We think that only helps students more.
So when you talk about a gig situation, is the University of California policy, is that the management policy, the region's policy?
I couldn't speak for their policy because I think there's a lot of de facto policy going on that doesn't come out, officially. But I mean, they've become, for lack of a better word, no, actually this is probably the better word, corporatized. And so what they like to do is keep their labor on their heels, so that they can manage it and not have to pay them anything, right? So if you keep on kind of just picking up professors or faculty and dropping them and picking them up and dropping them, we're constantly reapplying for these positions. A lot of us are applying for other jobs while we're teaching here, so the situation with the students is that they're not getting, even though we teach 40% of the credit hours here, right? It's not just one of these casual, a spousal hire, so we got to get someone with a law degree, let's get them a job. It's what they've done is they've taken on more and more gig labor in the form of lecturers. They also depend on graduate student instructors, TAs, and even undergrads. They're hiring an enormous amount of undergrads now to teach classes. And so all of that stuff is why you're seeing a bigger union presence on the University of California campuses.
How many members do you have?
We have 6,500 members active at any given time, about 5,000. And that's system-wide, and that includes the professional schools, the law schools, and that type.
So you've been negotiating with them?
Yes, we've been negotiating with them for over 2 years, and we've been off contract. Our contract expired January 1st, 2020. So we've been off contract since January 2020. The university has been in no hurry to negotiate with us. I've been to several of these negotiations, all of them, I should say, and their negotiators are masters in stalling, trying to create confusion, trying to create bad conversations, and wanting us to get fatigued in this goal of ours, which is to get a fair contract that includes rehiring rights, a living wage, and workload limits that are manageable for us, because we do a lot of work that we're not, let's just say it's not billable. We do mentoring, we write letters of recommendation, we are on committees, all kinds of things like that doesn't get paid. So we want that to count.
And the university apparently spends millions of dollars for lawyers to fight the unions. Do you think that's a good place for money to be spent by the University of California?
Do you know what the university spends money on besides lawyers? They pay $200,000 a year. They also spend a lot of money on administrators for their Wall Street debt. As a matter of fact, there's been tons more administrators hired in the past decade or two than actual teachers. So the question is, are they still in the education business, or are they in some other kind of business?
Well, when you talk about the corporatization of the university, what does that mean concretely?
I think it has to do with a mentality that they're trying to pump out They're trying to pump people into the labor force through the professional schools, and on the way to doing that, they've kind of verticalized. So the decision makers are really only concerned with bottom lines, budgets, and stuff like that. They're not concerned with treating their teachers fairly, and really, so that's kind of what I have in mind when I say that.
The regents are appointed by the governor. Is there any support among the regents for your fight?
Can you repeat the question?
The regents are appointed by the governor. Is there any support among regents for your fight?
We're trying to get anybody's support we can. The regents are meeting right now. They're in a meeting with President Drake, and this is what brings us out here. We haven't heard from the regents or from President Drake or from any of the chancellors or vice chancellors about our cause. They're unresponsive, and that's why the theme of today's rally is, where is Drake? We really want to know where he is. He's making almost $900,000 a year, come over from Ohio State, and he has been absolutely silent about this issue going on. And so we would really like to know where he stands on this, and we'd really like to enlist his help and the help of the regents, because it can only help the university to give us a fair contract.
And the university has gotten more money apparently from the state. I mean, COVID, they've gotten a lot of money. Where's that money going?
The university is flush with money. If you can figure out where that money is going, please let us know. Let me know. I'm really curious about it. But again, I would venture to say it goes to paying lawyers and administrators for their Wall Street debt and investments. That's my only guess.
It seems like this is an ongoing struggle of AFT-Me. Many unions are on a constant struggle. Where's this going, and do you have a long-range strategy of how to deal with the attack on the workers at the University of California?
Yes, we're uniting with other unions, like the UAW 2865 over there. They're the unions of graduate student labor and undergraduate student labor, all students that are employed as GSIs, TAs, readers, and undergraduates who are hired to teach engineering and computer science classes. Again, cheap labor, right? So we've seen that UAW has been able to win certain battles, grievances regarding undergraduate employment and exploitation of undergraduates as teachers. And so we are following each other into this battle. UAW will be up for contract in June of this year, so we're very excited to join forces with them. And then the student organizations, the ASUC, YDSA, Green New Deal, you name them, they're all in support of us. Go check their Twitter, go check their Instagram, and you'll see that we're all together on this.
And the University of California has been rated first in the nation. It seems like that's on the backs of the workers now.
I'm thinking about this. I always see those ratings come out. Where do they come from? Who's making them? Is this like some sort of, I don't know, Rolling Stone top rock bands of the, I have no idea where their criterion comes from. I have some friends who are communications directors at other universities, and they try to explain that to me, but I still don't understand it.
Well, I guess they have a good communications department here at the university.
Well, you could tell President Drake is, has got a communications director that probably writes all his, all his text, his speeches, all that kind of stuff. So you can't get through to him, and he can't get word out unless it goes through, that kind of a mediation.
And the rankings apparently don't have to do with how the workers are being treated.
Who doesn't?
The rankings in that apparently doesn't have to do with how workers are being treated.
What am I I'm guessing maybe how much money a graduate makes in their first 5 years. I have no idea. No idea whatsoever what the criterion is.
So are you covered by health care, and what benefits do you have?
I'm fortunate enough to be covered right now, but I've spent vast periods of time teaching without health care and paying for it out of pocket, because obviously health care is critical right now, so nobody wants to go without it. The way the university gets us to not get health care is through these self-terminating appointments that last for one term. So you'll get a letter in the beginning of your term that says you're going to be employed from August 18th and your employment ends December 15th, right? So you're technically not a full-time employee because you don't have an academic year contract. Now, I'm not saying all lecturers have this, but many of in my category, pre-6 lecturers, that is with under 6 years of experience in a single department, and we can get into multiple departments and what that means. But then the contract terminates, then you go back into the hiring pool, and if they need you again, they start you up on another short-term contract, and that is how they avoid paying health benefits. So if you do a look back, you could say to yourself, I taught in the fall, I taught in the spring, and I taught in the summer. That seems like full-time to me, but it's not full-time to the university. And the summer programs they don't even count as credit towards advancement, like towards a continuing lectureship of any kinds. It's more like a summer camp counselor kind of thing. You don't get any health benefits. You just get a lump of money at the end of your teaching. Your evaluations, some departments don't count evaluations from the summer term, so it's a complete farce. So that would be another thing we're trying to fight for, is trying to get those summer school teachers to be acknowledged and recognized. They're really doing teaching. A lot of times they have to compress 15 weeks of curriculum into 8, right? So they're actually doing a harder job sometimes.
Okay.